What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fly Casual. Corey here. Hey, guess what? Tonight it's hot, hot, hot. We got reviews. We got the rest of the saga coming back again for a triumphant and much asked for return. And we've got some rumors to go over tonight. So you're going to stick around for another hot Fly Casual.
Let's get ready to wrinkle!
You know, last week, Mike, I was talking about how we probably would be discussing rando movie trailers throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, which we did not do.
We didn't actually end up doing. We talked about a couple of them, but I have to ask, Mike, because of all all my friends, I have to ask, have you seen the Stan and Ollie trailer?
I have, because I saw you proselytizing about it on Twitter. And that looked pretty good.
Dude, John C. Reilly in a fat suit looks almost exactly like Babe Hardy, dude.
Yeah.
Freaked me out. I would have, if somebody said, all right, Corey.
Just like Babe Ruth.
Yeah, no. But also, yes. If someone said, Corey, all right, cast your dream Laurel and Hardy biopic, John C. Reilly would have never been anywhere on my list.
Yeah. No, but he really pulled it off.
Somebody knew better. Well, and he's even got the way he talked down. Like I can't even try to do it right now on the recording.
I'm John C. Reilly.
Well, no, that's John C. Reilly.
I'm Laurel and Hardy.
Hey, I'm Professor Steve Brule, and today we're going to
But even the mannerisms were just. I mean, they were just.
Why are you burying me, man? Well, I don't want to be dead. But no, he doesn't. He actually people talked differently back then. You know, American parlance across the myriad of accents that we have in this country have all changed.
Yes.
And one of the ones that has died is the kind of old upscale coast spanning, like it's an East Coast accent, and then they go to the West Coast to be famous, right? But it's like Cary Grant. No one talks like Cary Grant anymore. There's absolutely no one in this country who speaks like this,
Right.
But that wasn't terribly uncommon back then. And like Oliver Hardy had kind of a specific way that he spoke. John C. Reilly banging it out. But then Coogan, oh my gosh, sounds exactly like Stan Laurel. And Stan Laurel had like one of the most specific voices in the world.
Right. But even him, even his look, though, in some of those shots was like, ooh, like at certain angles, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Seriously. So naturally, I went straight down a YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Dude, all of the great 30-minute Laurel and Hardy B-roll films, all of them are on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And a bunch of them are colorized, which I don't love, but I don't mind.
Sure.
And so, I'm like, I'm going to be watching a lot of these now, because I used to have all the DVDs and stuff. And like we've said many times, the first night you and I hung out, I was in your house and I was like, whoa, you have all these Little Rascals DVDs. And you're like, it's kind of thing. I'm like, no, I have all these Little Rascals DVDs. So it's all that Hal Roach stuff from back then that was just like a major part of my upbringing and appreciation for comedy.
Yeah, Laurel and Hardy was a little lower. I mean, I had
they were the pinnacle in my house.
For me, it was like Marx Brothers, Three Stooges, like Little Rascals. But like Laurel and Hardy was like right up there.
Right, yeah.
So
in my
I've seen
house,
all those two.
It was literally Laurel and Hardy, Little Rascals, and then Stooges, and we didn't get a lot of exposure to Marx Brothers because they weren't on TV that much. Right. But Sunday afternoons there was like the Laurel and Hardy hour, and we used to just tape it right off. I don't remember if it was like ABC, CBS, NBC. It was one of them.
Who knows? Yeah, right.
Because we didn't have cable, and so like we would literally every Sunday we would record the Laurel and Hardy hour, and I watch those tapes to death, to the point where after we moved to Chicago, we had some friends from back in Ohio come visit us, and we hadn't talked to each other in a couple of years. And they're like, all right, the kids will go off and play together. And I'm like, he's a year older than me. We're not, because we go downstairs, he's tall and athletic. I'm still the same height. And I'm like, I don't know, dude, what do you want to do? And he goes, you still got all those tapes of those two guys with the hats?
Like little Laurel and Hardy.
We kind of were.
We just acted it out.
Yeah, we really could have. But I was like, dude, you want to watch Laurel and Hardy? Hell yeah, we're gonna watch Laurel and Hardy. I love that stuff.
Nice.
I like the Hardy Boys.
Nice.
That was fun.
Hardy Boys.
Solve mysteries, guys.
Oh man, I'm totally full of clue goo right now. I
got a raging clue right now.
had no idea that this movie was happening.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'd heard nothing for all the entertainment stuff that I follow. Thanks for not spoiling it for me, Eric.
I said that too.
From my understanding, it looks like this is a film about their tour before they made Utopia or whatever.
Apparently, yeah.
Because they're older.
I don't know much about
they're older and they're doing their old stuff on tour in England or whatever. Okay, but dude, I've watched Utopia so much the tape wore out. I mean, in that movie, there was like 4 different languages. That movie was done in 3 or 4 different languages.
Really?
Yeah, and they did that so that every nation would have a character, like all the major markets, I should say. That at the time would have a character speaking their native tongue. So if you actually watch it, like 2/3 of the characters are dubbed. Wow. Because there's the French guy spoke French, the stowaway guy spoke Italian.
Gotcha.
And so they actually shot the movie in several languages at the same time.
Multicultural is what that is.
Yeah, and just making a nice cheap way to hit those international numbers. Right. So Lucasfilm, I'm just saying,
hello,
if you're wanting to pick up in the foreign markets, maybe just record everything with every character speaking their native language.
That did look good. I'll probably partake.
I can't wait.
It's gonna win all the Oscars.
I don't know, and I don't even care.
The Oscars.
I don't even care. This movie's gonna be good. And oh, by the way, they made a Three Stooges biopic a while back.
They did.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but no one knew it even happened. I mean, there was a Three Stooges movie where
with the Fairley Brothers, right?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that at all.
Yeah,
but
actually, that's a guilty pleasure of mine.
I learned more. I learned more about like the transition from Shemp to Curly Joe by watching that movie.
Which one had Will Sasso in it?
That was the Fairley Brothers thing.
Yeah, it was the Fairley Brothers thing, yeah.
I don't actually know if I ever saw more than a few minutes of that one.
It actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I imagine it was actually probably at least marginally entertaining. The Fairley Brothers always tend to be at least okay and at their best really funny.
The actors really they studied their characters and they did good impressions. It was all right. It was fun.
I can't.
I mean, it was a Fairley Brothers plot. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah,
but yeah.
Was there any gags about bodily fluids and hair? I feel like there should have been. No,
dead birds.
Were there dead birds?
No, but it had to do with an orphanage and saving an orphanage and
naturally.
Classic Fairley Brothers.
It's right in their wheelhouse, right there.
Oh man!
Ladies and germs, welcome to Fly Casual episode number 198. Holy crap! 198.
The bicentennial, so close.
I feel like we should have
taste it.
Something prepared. Oh well, it's us.
We're just gonna do a clip show.
That's right.
Cool. Clip show.
We're literally just going to record.
We'll just drink and then
we're going to pull up the YouTube channel and just click through all the Porkins bites of the weeks and then record that and ship it out. That's how you do it.
There you go.
That's how you make budget for the season.
Twice as much alcohol as usual.
Yeah, we're gonna have a weird plot at the beginning where we all sit around on the couch because like Tina Yothers got in trouble at school or something like that.
Ooh, yeah.
And that'll be the plot is why we could start talking about I remember a time when and then just
I think
Porkins.
That's when we get recasted as hotter characters.
That's true. We are way past due for that, unfortunately. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fly Casual. I'm your host, Mr. Corey T. Wilson. On my left is Michael J. Archbold.
Hello.
Hey man.
How's you guys do? How's y'all's doing?
Good.
Yeah.
I've got kind of a pain. A little bit of, it's like right here.
I know.
It's like emanating here and it's going down this way.
Have you tried amputation?
There was a day this week where I was begging a doctor for amputation.
Take the arm.
I'm literally like, what's your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you describe your pain? I said amputation. And they're like, no, really. Wow. And I said, I'm not kidding. If we don't do something, I don't want my dominant arm anymore.
Just
also,
take it away.
I hate sand. It's rough and it gets everywhere.
I did. Yeah. And then she just looked confused at me. So I made some apples float around the room and everything was cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, there you go.
Worked out.
And you got a sweet robot arm.
Sure do. Man, I wanted that robot arm. I wanted that.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Like I want to hear little like mechanical servo sounds when I shoot the bird at someone.
They actually say with the advancements in robotics that's like a concern that doctors have.
That people will
just say
injure themselves.
I don't. No, not even injure themselves.
Just fake it.
Just say take the arm. I want the robotic one.
Yeah. There's actually somebody concerned about that.
People talking about that.
Don't get me wrong. I have a different
robot arm.
I have a different outlook on chronic pain than I did before. Like I totally, my arm totally hurts right now. And just listen, no, I'm fine, but I had a nasty rotator cuff issue, and there was a few days there where I was like, I don't want it anymore. Like, if this is life, take it away.
Sure, right.
And this is my dominant hand. This is my left hand. I'm left-handed. And I'm like, just go. I was getting to the point where I was depressed. I'm like, I can't do anything. Yeah. This sucks. Now, got the cortisone shot and everything like that. And a couple days later, I'm like, oh, my arm hurts. It feels like I injured it. And that's fine.
Right. It's like,
there's a total difference.
Deal with that pain.
Yeah. It's like, it's not like it doesn't hurt. It really hurts, but it's not like this hopeless, focused pain that
it's like a 5 now instead of an amputation.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. But see, I don't even like rating it on a scale, because to me, it's completely different kinds of things. Right. And as you get older, and you start to run into these things without actually injuring yourself. I just say, like, wow, one day you're like, my arm kind of hurts. And the next day you're like, my arm hurts a little more. And then a week later you're like, take it.
Yeah.
Just give me a stick to bite on.
Join my world, you old men. That's what happens when you get a little bit older.
Mike knows.
I
do know.
Mike.
I ain't lying.
I don't want to be a Mike. That just sounds awful.
I'm like, I got off the couch. I guess I'm done for a week.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, stood up too fast. There goes my month. Yeah. Oh, speaking of, they're losing months over there. Master Control, Mr. Stephen J. Howie.
Yep.
Where'd they go, Howie?
What?
Where does the time
Where'd your months go? You lost them.
My what?
Months. You lost the months.
I don't know what
you got the mumps.
Hey, Howie, did you hit record before we started talking? Because I feel like you didn't know we were recording.
Recording.
What?
Months.
I don't know what you even mean by where did my months go?
You lost them.
Where did I lose them?
That's what I'm asking.
When I said that, speaking of losing months, over there is Steven.
But I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All I know is that Mike can't stand pee because he's old.
Can't stand pee?
Yeah. No, when I stand to pee, I pull a muscle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pull a hammy.
And his prostate is,
you need robot hammies.
Engorged.
I do. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm about to say, just take it. Just take the legs.
It's funny.
I'll take the robotics.
When you're in your 20s, or God forbid, you're in college, if a dude sits to pee, that's open ridicule season. That's open season.
Unless they're drunk.
But once you get north of 35, you say you're like a 36-year-old, and you're like, well, when I'm at home, I'm a sit peer.
I'm just gonna.
And your friends are like, you what? And then 3 years later, they're like, yeah, I'm sit peeing too now. I don't know what happened.
How are you supposed to look at your phone?
Because you're tweeting while you're pissing.
Yeah,
it's funny. I heard a joke about that
tweet
tonight
sometime.
too.
You did what? Huh?
It's coming full circle for me.
Oh, you heard a joke
about sit and pee.
Sit and pee
and how old, and it's the best thing ever.
It is. It's the greatest. Once you get to a certain age, you just realize, why have I been standing this whole time?
Yeah.
What was I trying to prove?
Standing and pee is a young man's game.
That's right. Especially when you first wake up in the morning when you're younger and you're trying to bend over to point that thing. You know what I mean? You're the old batawang. You're trying to point that in the right direction.
Hey, speaking of the Taco Bell, Garrick, did you hear? You can get that app now, and they'll deliver it to you. They'll bring it right to you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you die.
Yep. That's how you shorten that lifespan.
That means all day, every day.
Yeah. At that point, you're just sit peeing because of loss of muscle mass.
Yeah, all these fast food places deliver now, and it's scary.
I don't know, dude, but I've been milking that free Dave single like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, yeah.
On the Wendy's app, they're just giving away the quarter-pound hamburger.
They just see you have your phone out, and they're like, hey, you want...
Yeah, I had...
my thing. Okay.
Yeah, I actually today pulled up, and, it says, the app says, don't click on it to get a code until you're, totally ready to order for, we swear, it's until you're totally ready. So when I'm at the drive-thru, I'm like, yeah, and I got a thing for Dave's free single. That's fine. Let's show it to us at the window. I get up to the window, and I click on it, redeem, and it says, show the cashier this code. And it was a blank screen.
89.
No, it is every time. It's 89.
It's always 89.
But it's a blank screen. And I was like, I swear I haven't used it. And I showed it to her. She goes, it says to show me the code, but there's no code. I'm like, so I got code, nothing. And she goes, well, try exiting and do it again. I'm like, I can do that, but I already redeemed it. I don't know if it let me. And it did. And guess what the code was?
89.
89. 89 every time.
Yep.
I don't know how long that runs. I don't know when this episode comes out. That'll still be going, but... The free
end of the month. It won't be. This comes out in October. So
the free Dave single every day. That was a hot item. That's like $3 a sandwich. $3,
Y'all missed
$3.50
it.
worth of sandwich, just given away for free.
For free.
Yeah.
You could buy a Frosty, a 50-cent Frosty.
50-cent Frosty and a free Dave single.
Mm-hmm. That's the best deal in hamburgers right there.
That's the best deal across the pond and down a few, according to Mr. Garrick, not Jay Hardy.
What up?
Hey man.
If we could replace our parts with robot limbs, I'd probably just be like Krang, put my brain in a robot body.
Yeah, man.
Like
right plans of mutated things.
But would you keep
turtles and rats?
Would you keep your brain in like near the crotch of the robot body like Krang did? I feel like that's an odd decision.
Yeah. It's better than on the top.
Why? Why is it better? You get a bird's eye view if you're up there.
Not with your brain. You don't see with your brain.
You can see through the robot's eyes.
Plus, if if everybody looks at your brain with eyes and a mouth that's in the belly region, then their eyes are going to be, when they're looking you in the eye, they're going to be close to your robot crotch. And I feel like that's
what I want, because I got a robot crotch.
Although it does make
just keep going, eyes up here.
It does make doing a 69 a little different.
Ooh,
oh heavens!
There's no such thing when it's at your belly level.
What are you talking about? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, robot 69.
What does that even
robots,
mean?
Man.
Yeah,
robots
and R69.
Robots don't do that.
Do you get a free flying? Do you get a free flying 59 Cadillac if you're from Dimension X? Is that like a comp?
Yeah, they give them away.
Yeah, I feel like it should be.
It's like Wendy's cheeseburgers. You just show them your code and you get a free flying
89.
There you go.
89.
Robot code 89. Anyhow, hey, gentlemen, we got some reviews to talk about. Why don't we hop right into it?
Oh, that's me. It is.
You better bring it, baby. Your turn, Biznatch.
What?
You heard me.
What?
Come on, man. Your time to shine, baby.
What? My time to shine.
He's agape. He's sitting agape.
I was offended by what you said.
His belly is agape, and his mouth, which is in his brain, and his belly also agape.
I'm so confused.
Degape yourself.
Yeah. So, I got my brain in my belly. So, cut me some slack, man.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
This time.
So before I get to reviews, let's just do a little segment here. You guys ready for this?
Oh.
Hit me.
It's a little segment called The Rest of the Saga.
One of those.
So here we go.
Here we go.
Again, yeah. Steven Allen Spielberg was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the middle of December 1946. He was from an Orthodox Jewish family. His mother was a restaurateur and concert pianist, and his father was an electrical engineer working on the forefront of computer development. At the age of 4, his family moved to New Jersey, and then only 3 years after that, they moved across the entire United States to Phoenix, Arizona.
Ugh.
7-year-old Stephen had a tough time during those transitions, making and keeping friends. And to make it worse, he suffered incessant bullying at school because of his Orthodox Judaism. Stephen would often spend time alone where his only companion was his imagination. He would sit for hours watching the shooting stars at night, wishing desperately that he could somehow bring his inner imaginary world out into the real one. Somewhere around his 12th year, his wish would be granted, as he would make a discovery that would not only change his life, but the movie industry as we know it. What he discovered was his father's 8mm Kodak movie camera. Once young Stephen realized the power of film, his upward trajectory seemed unbroken after that. Even his childhood itself would act as a part of the inspiration for the J.J. Abrams film Super 8. At 12, he would be awarded his photography Boy Scout merit badge by doing something no one had ever done before to gain that badge. He wrote, directed, and filmed an almost full-length Western movie. By the age of 16, he had honed his craft even further, and he spent $500 to film a 140-minute sci-fi epic called Firelight, which would be shown in the local movie theater, and it would actually end up breaking even. Eventually, at the age of 27, after being rejected from film school, working odd jobs in the movie industry, and getting to direct a few TV episodes, he would get called up to the big leagues to direct an actual studio-produced movie. The studio that called him up had just purchased a right to a novel that was about some big-ass shark or something, and they thought it would make a really good horror feature to get the kids in the seats and buying popcorn. But Spielberg saw this opportunity differently. He saw this as his big chance to prove himself. The movie he was given, named Jaws, would go on to take his career from the cruising altitude of 20,000 feet and launch it into space, figuratively and literally. With his newfound fame and newly gained respect to the movie industry after making the highest grossing film of all time to that point, he had the unique opportunity to choose and create his next project. He was thrown scripts left and right, but instead of looking to the future, he looked to the past, to his first independent feature film, Firelight, and decided to take the ideas in that film and magnify them by 1,000. Firelight, you see, was about humanity's first contact with an alien species. He added some Richard Dreyfuss and a dash of mashed potatoes to his original movie, and he eventually came out with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This movie would be another box office smash for the young Spielberg and go on to be with Jaws on the list of the best movies ever made. During the filming of the movie, though, Steven had his doubts that it would even break even when it eventually was released. The science fiction movie genre in the 70s was less comprised of monster films and campy space fantasies with buxom young lads and lasses that would always flop in theaters. And this movie was none of that. And it even added elements of philosophy and a dive into the human condition, which seemed like a recipe for disaster for the mainstream cinema. One day while filming, Steven got a visit from a friend he had met while trying to break into the film industry. Even with his massive success on Jaws, and maybe partly due to his lonesome childhood, he was still a true friend to even those down on their luck that came to him asking for a buck or even some advice. His friend was trying to make his own movie, and the studio had decided to give him a meager development budget and a very short leash. The movie was proving to be a nightmare to make, and it was already running over budget, over schedule, and there was the fear the studio would just pull the plug altogether any day now. All the stress had given Steven's friend a severe hypertension, and he decided to take a few days off to visit Steven to see if he could get any pointers and maybe relax a bit before he had a total nervous breakdown. Steven and his friend clicked like they had never been apart. They laughed and talked a lot over the old and new times over the next few days, and Steven confided in his friend that he was afraid his movie was probably going to flop. And with all the money that Columbia had invested in their new wonderkin Spielberg, the failure would probably mean that Columbia would have to shutter their doors and close down. Spielberg's friend almost guffawed at that. Walking around Steven's set of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, he yelled, "This is going to be the biggest hit of all time. I can't believe this set. I can't believe what you're getting, and oh my goodness." He paused for a moment and looked pensive for "All right, I tell you what, I'll trade you some points. You want to trade some points? I'll give you 2.5% of my movie if you give me 2.5% of Close Encounters." Steven smiled wryly and took his hand and shook it. "Sure, I'll gamble with that. Great." Close Encounters of the Third Kind would go on to make $303 million at the box office. The bet the two men made would end up breathing new life into his friend. And as he knew he would most likely have this windfall to fall back on when his movie flopped or was canceled, he returned to the set with a new spring in his step. Well, you'll be happy to know that Steven's friend's movie did eventually get made, and it even saw a limited release in 32 theaters on opening night. The movie went up on the big screen just a few months shy of the release of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, with the vague title of Star Wars. Of course, the rest is history. Star Wars had become the highest grossing film of all time, and George Lucas would not forget that handshake over that gentleman's bet. And as a man of his word, he traded 2.5% of his movie's profit for 2.5% of Close Encounters of the Third Kind's profit. And that's how Steven Spielberg came to own 2.5% of Star Wars. That has netted him an estimated and adjusted for inflation $40 million to date. And that is the rest of the saga.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, BFF, man.
Yeah,
I love how George Lucas was such a worrywart and such like one of those like advanced, like stressful, self-deprecating people that he's like, my movie's going to suck so bad, I'll give you points on it. I swear, because that way when it does suck and no one likes it, at least you'll know that I knew that was going to happen and I won't be as lame.
Yeah.
It cracks me up that Lucas is that personality. It's not a surprise either.
No.
But those people who are like, hey, I totally did this thing. It's awful. Come take a look. Everybody knows that. That person
cracks me up that they had the flexibility to be able to offer points on their movies back then.
That's because the studios are like, we don't even care.
You don't even.
Just do whatever.
That crap don't happen no mo.
Yeah.
Nope, not no mo. So Steven Spielberg making some money for nothing.
Mm-hmm. For taking
his chicks were free.
Taking a buddy on a walk.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that.
Moving on. Yep. Always trade points, guys.
That's right.
When you're making them, always trade points.
I'll gamble with my salary, sure.
What about podcasts? Do we trade points on podcasts?
Yeah, I'll trade points on.
Do we have points to trade?
Hey, if we keep growing that YouTube,
we barely have points to talk about.
That's the point.
But
we're about to monetize, baby.
Yeah, baby. Get some sweet, sweet ad money.
It's going to happen.
Oh, gee.
Just you guys wait. We're going to be filthy with Dollar Shave Club ads.
Yeah.
Every 30 seconds.
That's right.
I'm going to be discriminating on our ads.
Oh, really?
No dollar shave club.
Everybody does Dollar Shave Club. Let's do like
50-cent Shave Club.
We're going to be funded by the Koch brothers.
Yeah, that's the big monies.
Take that, progressives.
Funded by the cartel.
Ooh, cartel.
Yeah. Ooh, I like cartel money. That's exciting.
Yeah. Guys like cocaine? Well, let me tell you about cocaine.
You like the cocaine?
The cocaine. Yeah.
This episode of Fly Casual is brought to you by cocaine. Hey, now we all know that cocaine got a bad rap in the 80s when it was being snorted by all these business moguls and investment bankers wearing suspenders and their powder blue button-up shirts. But cocaine has changed recently, and we want to get the word out so that you can be at the forefront of new cocaine technology. That's how it's going to go. It's been long rambling.
They used to put it in our drinks.
That's
like
right.
Coca-Cola.
Hey,
people used to brush their teeth with
you hear the rumor that Coca-Cola is looking to add
the cocaine?
No, well, not the cocaine. The marijuana.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're infusing it?
They're thinking about making a marijuana variant in the Canada.
That sounds like it would taste terrible.
Yeah, because marijuana smells like a cat's ass. I mean... Actually, it smells like catnip because I think they're very closely related.
Sweet, sweet Chiba.
Sweet Chiba. Daganja.
Weed cola.
I've never walked into the room and gone, oh, no, that's a pleasant smell of marijuana. That's never happened. It's always like, what is that funk? That's...
What died?
Yeah, what died?
You're alienating all our chronic fans,
Lots
buddy.
of the... I have never partaken of the marijuana.
Oh.
I've never taken the pot.
Really?
I've never
done the pot.
I've never snorted or injected the pot.
I've never.
I doubt very
intravenous pot use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you infuse the pot?
I have never toked a bowl of the monkey weed, of the devil grass.
Is that a thing? Monkey weed?
I have never been a partaker. However.
Yes.
Were it to be legal, and were it not to be job threatening, I don't think I have any issue with like a controlled environment test.
Oh, don't get me started on this discussion. You guys know how I
that feel. Libertarian's gonna come out shooting guns in the air. Shooting,
science, right?
Shooting guns and shaving off government chunks. And hating on net neutrality.
And I don't even hate it. Or I don't even use it.
Speaking of net neutrality.
Oh, boy.
No, not even at all. Not even a little bit.
Dag nabbed.
I was ready for that discussion. No.
The Star Wars guys.
Oh, yeah.
This franchise we're all huge fans of.
Oh, yeah. That
has announced a new 30-issue maxi series.
What?
Is what they're calling it.
Maxi pad series.
I need an adult.
Yes. Yeah, maxi series. So this 30-issue series will cover the 3 main ages of Star Wars. So for those who are not familiar, Age of Republic, Age of Rebellion, and Age of Resistance are the three main ages, which is the prequels, the OT, and the new trilogy coming out. Yeah, so there will be a one-issue comics that will cover each one of these eras. And first one coming out, of course, is, and they're doing it in chronological order. So Age of the Republic will be first, and they should be coming out this December. And they will have one or two a month leading up to the last movie in the new trilogy.
Really?
So, yeah. So you got, right now we only have 24 announced. That I guess they're holding 6 back for whatever reason. But a lot of famous names in here.
Surprise!
Yeah, you got the first ones will be Qui-Gon and Darth Maul, and then continues on through some of the main characters. You got Han Solo, Grand Moff Tarkin, got a Supreme Leader Snoke one that should be interesting. So yeah, should be interesting. General Grievous, guys, you like Grievous?
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing whatever onomatopoeia they use for his cough.
Yeah, I'm really excited. They're bringing in pretty decent writers in the first The Age of the Republic, bringing Jodie Hauser, who's done she did the Thrawn adaptation comic, which I thought was amazing, and she also did the Rogue One adaptation, which I also. Then they're bringing in Greg Pak for the Age of Rebellion, and Tom Taylor for the Age of. And Tom Taylor's worked on the Dark Horse Star Wars comic, so he's got a little bit of experience, so should be interesting. Yeah. You guys excited?
I am.
Yeah,
I'm a
excited.
comic guy. Yeah.
We got Lando one, guys.
Lando.
I'm reserving my excitement.
Jango Fett, Corey? Like Jango?
I wouldn't mind a little more Jango backstory to make me give a crap about his insta decapitation.
You like Jabba the Hutt? Heard of this guy, Jabba the Hutt?
It's funny. I don't have a whole lot of interest in Jabba the Hutt because Jabba was in everything when
that's not Jabba.
When it was no, that's just Greedo slowed way down.
Wait, that sounded like Amidala. Yeah. Amidala and Jabba.
Surprise, everyone! I've returned. I've been practicing my Rhodian. Voo-da doo-da solo.
That's spot on.
It is.
We must do something.
Oh no, here we go.
Nailed it.
I've got some other ones. Yoto. That's not Rhodian, but I think it gets the job done.
It's the hibernation sickness.
Did you go to the bathroom?
Your vision will return with time.
Yeah.
I can't even explain.
They have a Padme one. They have a Padme one, Corey.
They do.
Well, they do.
I've seen it.
Hot dog.
I heard it.
Hot diggity.
Yeah.
It's from that era too. When
Do you guys want me to do dramatic readings of the Padme comic in that voice?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We'll
As
have to
long as I
remember
can
that one.
pronounce all of the sound effects exactly as spelled.
So that might probably be in the middle of next year when that comes. Yes.
Weep woo.
So yeah, moving on to
Chortle zip. Snap hiss.
doing all the sound effects.
The breathing is a nice touch.
It's like Padme's a mouth breather nowadays.
When has she not been a mouth breather?
Cakes and pies, cakes and pies. Oh, dear God.
See, you think she's going to say something, but she's not. She's just really having a hard time breathing.
Right.
She's thinking. She thinks a lot. Very smart.
She's measured. That's the diplomat.
It is.
And her coming out.
She knows when to speak.
Contemplating what to say next.
This is how democracy ends. With thunderous applause.
That's not how she talked back then.
This is awkward for even me. The best part for me with doing this is staring directly at Mike for like him leaning back and shaking.
Well, he's got two mics pointed at him.
He does.
Yeah.
Well,
Mike gets 2 mics.
He's triple Mike.
He's going to be in stereo.
That's
We
right.
come through stereo. Anyway.
Yeah.
So comic run come to an end this week.
Thank goodness.
Who's coming to an end?
We had 2 of them that did come to the end. So the Star Wars, The Last Jedi comic adaptation came to an end.
Oh, let me have
And then the Lando Double or Nothing miniseries also came to an end.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
And the Double or Nothing I haven't really mentioned because I was not very impressed with it.
Okay, I was hoping that I wasn't the only one that felt that way.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of dialogue, and I thought, I mean, you get a lot of L3 dialogue, which I thought was pretty good-ish.
Okay, yeah.
It was funny, but
I
everything else was just
the situation. I mean, the story. Basically, it's Lando is conscripted to help a couple of people on a planet that's trying to decide whether or not they want to rebel against the Empire. This is pre Han Solo film,
right?
And he's brought in and he helps. I mean, it's just a predictable plot. I mean, there's just
it is.
The thing I loved about the original Lando, the first Lando series, was that it was just really out there, and I mean, it really dug into the character of Lando. It felt like Lando.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
And then, of course, Lobot, the implants, and there was just a lot of
implants.
Hello.
Remember me? I've got the implants.
But this was just, it was just, I don't know. It almost felt like the 70s Star Wars series, like just random. I mean, it was just rando alien people with pointy ears. He helped them out.
Made me not appreciate Lando anymore. It was not.
Yeah.
I'm really upset with that statement, Garrick.
Well, I expected a lot more from that.
He didn't even get with any ladies.
The closest he came was at the end. I think she gave him a kiss and said thanks. Yeah. And instead of the next panel being them in bed, it was just like, okay, we'll see.
Because that's how we're not misogynist. That's how the original comic started. Was him in bed. With
I know.
Moth.
That's what made it beautiful.
I know. It's just like that's his character.
Yes, that's right.
There's my baby.
Yeah. So Star Wars: The Last Jedi comic came to an end. I didn't really read it, but I guess there was some interesting ending internal dialogue with Luke when he disappeared or whatever. Yeah. So we get to see Luke's last words. So you guys interested in those?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure am.
Yeah. Knock it out.
Wait. We should guess first, shouldn't we? What was Luke's last internal monologue before he faded like a fart in the wind? Go ahead.
Nudist colony.
Huh.
That's what Mark Hamill said his last words were. But
yeah. Right. Howie, any guesses?
Peace be with you.
Oh, and also with you.
Thank you.
Me, I think that Luke Skywalker's last thoughts as he farted it and became a fart in the wind was probably just
Rosebud.
Right, there you go.
Bleep, blop, bloop.
It's a sled.
Yeah.
Back on Tatooine.
Air speeder. Or land speeder.
Land speeder.
T-17.
Tashi.
Power converters. Never got them. No, but his real last words were, you guys ready for this?
Dying for
it.
Get your tissues out, fellas.
Oh, here we go.
I've always got my tissues.
I'm getting to the panel. Oh my gosh. Actually.
And so it begins, or so it ends as it began, by the light of the two suns. before stepping into a larger world. Disappear. The end. It's it.
What?
I actually would have appreciated that at the end of the movie. I think that would have landed.
Oh yeah,
well.
anything's an improvement. But
Actually, you guys should go to View Comic and take a look at the panels.
oh man, I gotta do stuff.
Sorry,
I didn't
because
sign up for this.
the panel before he says these words.
Oh, is
like-
it some great
Looks
sound
like
effects?
he's taking a huge deuce.
Oh,
And the panel below that, it looks like he's a little kid or something.
Yeah, I'm like, the art's not great, but
No, the art was
furiously
not terribly
scrolling. I'm so excited right now.
Yeah, this art is questionable.
it was on
I like-
Force Awakens too.
impressive. Yeah, it was. They
It's
did.
not great.
Oh yeah, he's sweating out a grunt, boy.
That is fantastic.
I love how in the next panel after he's like, he's pushing out a grumpy. It looks like he's a bearded 4-year-old.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we were
that's
just
what I said. It
saying.
looks like a
Yeah.
little kid.
Looks like a toddler with a beard. Wow.
Yeah, they didn't do perspective very well on that one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. he's like
then-
he's like Luke.
And so it ends. as
He's
it
like
began,
Luke
by
if
the light
instead of
the two
Anakin was his
suns.
father, it was the dude what was on Tatooine with Anakin in the first movie, played by Warwick Davis. That was also in Solo. I can never remember the character's name.
I do got
Solo.
to give it to the writers to try to add something to this.
Yeah.
To try to make it meaningful in some
Well,
fashion.
actually, I mean, the only thing notable about this comic was that the writers tried to dig in a little bit, and
Yeah, they added the internal dialogue in this may be worth buying it, perhaps, or at least reading it.
or going to
on a
viewcomic.com and checking it out.
Yeah, but you actually see the kid force pull the broom into his hand.
Yeah, which I have never seen. I've never
you
seen because I never, even when I was watching for it in the theater, I blinked at the wrong time because it happened so quickly. And I, since it came out on video, have never made it that far into the movie again.
The best part about this comic, though, is the preview for Dr. Aphra 24 in the page. That's a great cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So anyway,
It is
it is what it is. So Vader 21 also came out.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it did.
An in-depth look at how Vader got his castle, how Vader met his castle, right? How Vader met
Yeah.
his castle back.
When Vader
I'm
met
gonna-
Castle.
Vader met castle.
Yeah.
There you go.
That'd be an interesting
got
franchise
Castle?
crossover.
You got castle.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Castle Act was another one.
I like it.
Yeah.
And Castle Act 2.
Castle Act 2, that's when they brought all the kids in. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they needed to up the cuteness factor.
Yeah, but then they had to bring a lot of the Sith from the pro singing act in the first Castle Act
Yeah.
movie.
That's where all the babies go that he steals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send them to an inner city school.
So the writer of Vader 21 is Charles Soule, and he also wrote the previous Lando run, the one we do like, and he also he's written this. So he's actually bringing back this mask that we saw in the Lando comic.
Oh, is that where that's from?
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is he confirmed it on Twitter. He said, yes, that is the mask. It's called the Mask of Lord Momin, something like that. Momin. So that Vader originally found it in Jocasta's new secret vault in the temple in Vader 10. And he took it to Mustafar, and eventually I guess it's going to be on the Emperor's pleasure yacht thing when Lando steals it.
The Excalibur.
Yeah, the Excalibur, sure.
That's what it was called in TIE Fighter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forget what it was actually called, but yeah, so that was some good, interesting continuity, how Charles Soule likes that mask so much. But yeah, it was an interesting issue.
I liked it. I like the art too. The opening panels with Anakin standing on the ship. It shows young Anakin standing there looking at the mask, and he turns around and he's got Vader's like melted face on the
grafted onto his skin.
Yeah, people are tweaking on that because it's so freaking creepy.
It is. It's very creepy.
Yeah, I've seen that pop up in some blogs and stuff in the last day or two.
Yeah, I love what they're doing with this comic.
I do too.
Yeah, I get to. I didn't realize, or maybe I forgot that that's where Vader like bled his stone was on Mustafar.
Yes, I forgot that too until they mentioned it in the comic. Yeah.
And that's why. That's kind of like why he wanted to build his castle there, is because that's where the most pain is, I suppose, where he made his lightsaber, and it's this, I guess, his nexus of his power now. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, you missed another part there that they did something interesting.
What's that?
Looks like they pulled that Naboo ship out of a pile of lava. It was like a callback to pulling that Luke pulling or Yoda pulling the X-wing out of the swamp.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
And they're pulling
well, essentially what happens is actually Vader has been gifted. Palpatine basically preserved Padme's ship.
Yeah.
And he has gifted this to Vader. And Vader has decided to go to Mustafar and
rough it up a little bit.
Yeah, and as they're landing, he decides to take control of the ship because he's with an architect and some crew. And but as they're approaching Mustafar, he decides that I'm going to take this manually down, and he approaches the planet without shields. And that's what the result is the scarred, tore up ship. So something that was beautiful and sleek is now scarred and much like
he's
him.
made the memory of her.
Some symbolism there.
A little bit, yeah.
Like there's a couple levels of symbolism.
The female in the comic, she's like the architect that's going to build the castle for him, so she's trying to get into his head.
Oh no, don't go.
Him. Yeah, right.
Wait,
exactly.
Don't do it.
She's trying to understand him so she can, give him a design that he likes, and that's the first thing that she notices. Oh, the sleek ship and this and that, and then after they land, landing without, the shields and the scarring of the ship, she kind of looks at it and is like, oh, okay, I'm getting an idea now.
Yeah, it's funny because Vader won't give her anything at all except build me this castle, and if I don't like it, well, you have to start over. And so it's interesting her trying to figure out what Vader's aesthetic would be if he were to build a castle, and it's hard for her. But then she dies, so it's all good.
Yeah, he pretty much
don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, essentially, just so you know, I mean, at the end of the comic, basically the mask takes over one of the dead bodies and pretty much gives Vader the design. So
yeah, so that was interesting.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
it's creepy and different, but I like it.
That mask has some sort of like Sith presence.
Right.
Pretty.
You say you like the art in this, but every time Palpatine...
Actually, I don't. It's pretty weak.
Yeah, every time Palpatine's... And it's like Palpatine's face looks weird every time they show it. And there's a couple where he just didn't bother.
There's some
like
things,
his face is just missing.
There's some things I like about it. The colorist did well, I feel like. But there's some things I like about it. The Vader panels, especially when he's meditating. Mm-hmm. But there's other panels that are just pretty weak.
Yeah, it's hit and miss, really. The covers are amazing.
Love the cover, yeah.
The covers are probably one of my favorite ever. And there's one coming out where I think people have been posting this and tweaking out where Vader's basically standing in the lava and there's this lightning storm behind him. And it looks like he's just like mad and lava's flying everywhere. Or he's coming out of the lava or something. But yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
And then Star Wars 54 came out.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, one of the biggest comic events of all
time.
Han Solo flies an X-Wing.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he finally gets in that cockpit and flies that thing around in his little X-Wing flight outfit. So that was fun.
I've been teasing this for like 2 issues.
Yeah.
And we lost a semi-major character as well. So you remember Rogue One, the movie?
Sure do.
You remember General Draven?
Sure do.
The guy?
He was all mad.
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Draven sacrifices himself, redeems himself,
and
from the assholishness of Rogue One.
And takes a little bit out of it by explaining it. He's like, hey, remember Jyn Erso and how she did that thing and it was all great, but I was like the guy who said not to? I feel like a dick, so I got to go out on a good way too, so go ahead and leave.
Yep.
Kinda.
That's exactly it.
Kinda. Yeah.
He says it. He explains it.
I know.
I don't want to die. I don't want to fade into obscurity
Corey,
with that dick move on my belt. I gotta.
It was added exposition for those who didn't remember who he was. That's all it was. It could have been done better. For show.
People who read a lot of comics probably need that extra helping hand.
I did too.
They closed that loose end. I appreciated it.
And Vader pretty much just crushed him. So
yeah, what a way to go!
He went out hardcore.
Used Force squish.
But actually, this arc is kind of wrapping, and this really, I mean, if you guys remember, this arc is, I don't know, 4 or 5 issues in now, and but when it started, I mean, this is like an epic battle in the history of the rebellion, because this is right when they first put together their fleet, and I mean, like out of the gates, they're attacked by the Empire because they were betrayed by Trios, if you remember, and I mean, so this arc is like actually a big deal.
Yeah, it's epic.
Yeah, very epic. So
not only does we see Han Solo and flying around in an X-wing, Princess Leia is flying around in a TIE fighter.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, so to escape, she has to get these codes, undo what Trios has done to sabotage the Rebel fleet. They snuck aboard Vader's ship and took these codes, and now there's only one escape, and that's in a TIE fighter, and she almost gets shot down by Han Solo in his X-wing, but she's too good of a pilot.
Hello,
suck it, Han Solo.
How does that make you feel, Corey, that Leia's a pilot too?
Well, was she headbutting the controls in order to outfly him?
But now she can fly.
If she can headbutt the controls, and that's how she's such a good pilot, then it's continuity even, and I'm okay with it.
She could headbutt with their ship.
Let's try headbutting. That's a good move.
Now there was one scene in this that was maybe a little too reminiscent of Rogue One, where Vader finds the rebels.
Oh yeah,
and he basically comes. There's a sealed door, so he comes through the sealed door with his lightsaber, and it
cuts through.
Yeah, cuts through, and it's pretty much the end of Rogue One.
Yeah, it just cuts them all down.
Where all the rebels are sitting there firing at him, and he's just slaughtering rebels.
Red lit, Vader Hall, murder hall.
Yep. It looks cool, even though it's maybe a little too reminiscent of Rogue One. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, there's maybe some sort of symbolism there. Who knows? But I don't know. I like this comic. I like Vader
too. I love it.
Yeah,
I like the art.
Yeah,
the art's
good.
Art's really good.
It seems to be good. He uses that face technique where he traces their face or something. Salvador LaRocca. Yeah. So
I like that. I know some people don't. I do. I like it.
I like it when the face doesn't jump out as looking completely different as everything around it. And
like it has been bad in the past, but I don't know if I'm used to it or maybe recently kind of made it a little bit more subtle.
I think it's more subtle because I think in the past what he tended to do was pull frames directly from the movies.
Yeah.
So it looked like that face, that
you
angle.
already remember that face.
You remember, that's Luke from Empire,
But then the thing is, the kind of detail he would do on the face would not match the kind of detail he would do around the face.
I understand, right.
This I feel like doesn't suffer from that.
Yeah, you're right. It melds a little better.
There's some panels in there you can definitely tell from the artist. Yeah. And I still like him. Like he does a good Luke face, a good Han face, really good Leia face.
Yeah, but how's his O face?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a ride on the Bone roller coaster.
So that's all the comics that came out.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Well, that means it's time for the Porkins Bite of the Week.
Again? Doing it again?
Every week, baby. Every week.
I don't know if y'all know this, but when they made Star Wars A New Hope, there's a scene where R2-D2 gets sucked up by like a super hoover on the side of the sand crawler.
What?
And when that movie was being made in the 1970s, they didn't actually have the technology to suck up an R2 up through a big old vacuum tube.
What?
So what they did was they just dropped his ass out the tube like a poop.
And ran it backwards.
And then they ran it backwards.
Yeah.
Kenny Baker in there still?
Hey guys,
that's classic A New Hope, man. They did that with the Tusken Raider too.
Which one?
Shaking the gaffy stick over his head.
Oh, yeah.
After he hits Luke. If you look at it real close, they just run it back and forth.
Yeah. They do.
Forward and
Oh
backward.
yeah. I have noticed that. Indeed.
The same with Commander Cody. When he takes off his helmet, they just roll it backwards and puts it on.
Really?
From Revenge of the Sith when he's talking to Obi-Wan.
Are you serious?
Actually,
It looked like he rolled it off and rolled it right back on.
It did, but actually, none of the troopers in either Attack of the
they weren't
Clones.
real.
Yeah, it was all CGI. So
They CGI'd it.
Previous, that's a previous Porkins bite of the week for the Porkins historians out there. And guess what, guys? It's time for some rumors. Rumors.
oh yeah,
Mike, take us somewhere dirty.
bring it in.
Yeah. Dirty it up, baby.
Well, we have been doing a lot of discussion lately, but we actually had a couple rumors rolling.
What?
this week?
There's actually rumors to
Rumors?
talk about because the community's not being
You know
driven
what?
by its
There's-
hatred for itself.
There's always rumors out there, but a lot of them are hard to swallow and not very good. So, but these came in this week.
Those are my favorite kind.
I know, but there's been other things to talk about later.
I do like the ass butt rumors. Those are great.
the ass butt.
Ass butt.
But
Because they're dumb as butt.
I see.
Oh, got him.
Andy Serkis in the news this week, boys.
What? It's a new Planet of the Apes movie?
So,
I thought he died.
tamed power.
And wriggling.
He dies in all his movies, doesn't he?
He didn't
Has there been
die.
a movie he lived in?
He didn't die in.
He didn't die in
he didn't
the
die in
first
Civil
Planet of the
War,
Apes.
did he? Was it Civil War?
He did what?
Captain America Civil War? Wasn't he in that one?
Oh, I thought you were asking, was Andy Serkis in the Civil War?
I'm thinking of his
And
character.
I'm like, most people aren't as old as you, Mike. I don't know.
His character died, right? In Black Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther, but I think he survived the first one that he was in. Wasn't
That would be, I believe
wasn't
you're
that
talking
Captain
about
America?
Ulysses Claw. Oh, heavens.
Caesar died, right? Spoiler.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but not till the third film.
Dude, what?
but it was his
I haven't
character.
seen that film yet. Don't ruin it for
Oh,
me.
I mean, he lives a long, happy monkey life.
Son
Yeah.
of a bitch.
Dude,
like
he's like
20
literally the
Long,
only.
happy
He's
monkey
one of
life.
3 characters that are in all 3 films. He's not gonna live forever, bro.
Son of a bitch.
Just the elongated
suck.
lives of these monkeys.
Oh, that orangutan
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I say. He's one of like
man.
3 characters. There's like
that orangutan guy.
there's like 3 monkeys that live in all that are alive in all 3 films. That's about it.
Oh. Well, Andy Serkis wasn't so lucky in The Last Jedi either.
Nope.
If you recall, he got cut in half.
It was the worst case cut in half I've ever seen.
It was pretty
Kylo,
bad.
What are you doing, man?
It was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
His bottom half just fell down.
So anyway,
they'll give
lots
him
of
robot legs.
little bit of speculating going on this week. You
Robot
see, Andy Serkis
Robot legs.
was scheduled to attend a Comic-Con of some sort or another. And apparently he just canceled that con appearance.
What?
And that is leading to a lot of speculation about his involvement in Ep9. You see,
Return.
there are other folks.
No, he's got to do Return to the Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Return to the Rise of the...
It's
It takes place like way in the future. And
It's a
he's like,
sequel prequel.
I see.
A sequel to a prequel. It's a pre-sequel.
Is this the one where he goes back in time and the whole world is run by damn dirty apes?
Yep.
no, it's run by humans.
Wait, huh?
'Cause he is the ape. He is the ape.
I don't understand.
It's a fish out of water story. It's a comedy. We think it's going to score great with the 20 to 30 demographic.
Wait, doesn't he go back to the present and then he's like Marky Mark or something? Isn't that
That's
what
a
it
different
is?
movie. That's like a different planet, isn't it?
But he does become a pop star when the other vampires won't talk to him.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm
Wow.
on board now.
Wow.
I know. I went deep fast.
Well, this is supposedly of note because they are in the middle of filming Ep9, and there are other stars of the movie that have canceled con appearances around the same time, and that's
People are
moving
paying-
this speculation.
People are paying attention because it was Ray Park canceling a con appearance when he suddenly got a call to come be Darth Maul.
Yippers. You know what? People are really stupid too because he went to that. Apparently, everybody just ignored him because he was even at the premiere of Solo, a Star Wars story.
I love the fact that he talks about he's at the premiere and he's sitting next to Ewan McGregor. Right. Ewan McGregor has no idea he's in the movie.
This is funny.
They get to the scene and Ewan McGregor starts losing his mind, punching him and like, oh my gosh. And Ray Park's like, stop, I want to see myself. But Ewan McGregor's losing his mind, like so thrilled for him.
Yeah. Elbowing him.
Yeah.
Dude. It's you.
Yeah, I know. I like to see it.
I know. I was in the movie.
So,
in the movie.
Any thoughts about Andy Serkis reprising his role in 9?
I got to know
what that means.
That means they're going to have a line that contains the word.
All right.
So, Force Ghost Snoke?
Okay. So, I guess that's a good question. Is it, Force Ghost? Is it flashback? Is it he's returned?
Flashback.
Well, I don't want it to be flashback because I don't.
That's why it's flashback.
I got over the fact. Yeah, I got over the fact that they're doing flashbacks in Star Wars now. But at the same time, the flashbacks, other than the Force vision that Rey has in Force Awakens, were all in The Last Jedi, and I didn't like any of them. I didn't like those plot devices. Therefore, I haven't seen flashbacks. Legit, just flashbacks in Star Wars that I think are done well. So I'm still kind of the stubborn old mindset that I still don't want them. So having said that, I would prefer if he were some evil Force ghost, except for the following. I don't give a crap about Snoke. I would be much more I would be much more afraid walking into a cavern in the Knights of the Republic on Korriban that I'm going to run into the ghost of Freedon Nad or Marcus Ravnos.
Right.
Those characters that I know very little about, but I know enough to know that was bad.
Right.
With Snoke, I'm kind of like, well, he just kind of showed up and he made all the teenagers make a new empire and then he got cut in half. That's all I know.
What if he was a Force Wraith?
Again,
Force Wraith.
It's like saying, what if everybody was attacked by Wicked's ghost?
What if?
I don't think.
Watch that.
Okay, well,
I don't
what if
think
he came
Wicked's
back
that
as a
terrifying.
See, now, I think Howie's on to something here because first off,
I'm always on to something.
Jedi are the only ones that have figured out how to reanimate, I guess, not even reanimate, but
become one with the Force.
Yes. Well, but their spirit is still there that they can communicate as Obi-Wan or as, whomever.
Our understanding historically of the Sith ghosts was that they were
it's
actually
like an essence.
It's an essence, like a copy.
Right.
It's not an actual.
Think of Tom Riddle in the Diary.
Yeah.
It wasn't Tom Riddle.
It's not Voldemort because guess what? He's hanging out as a shriveled up fetus in a high back chair. Fetus. Did I say penis?
Fetus.
I like that better.
Just wait till you see the bat fetus. So he's a shriveled up fetus hanging around with Wormtail, at whatever the hell. But it's none of this has any precedence in the new canon.
Yeah. Right.
Other than kind of the little bit of the stuff we saw in Clone Wars, but Clone Wars didn't go into the mechanics of it like we're talking about right now. So he could just be a bad Force ghost. Even though canonically in the current canon, only a handful of Jedi ever knew how to become one with the Force and be a Force ghost.
Right.
He's in Force Purgatory.
That doesn't mean that JJ gives a flying crap about that.
Right. Well, yeah. See, that's the thing. If he becomes a Force ghost, I might be a little disappointed in that because of that very thing.
Yeah, it's like they are the ones that limited that canon.
But if he is like you said, a wraith, or an essence of Snoke or something like that, to me that may be a little more interesting, especially if they're digging into the Force or
it's just a holovid
some
recording.
Unknown things about the Force. Yeah. See,
that's like a Cylon with ball ties.
Yeah. It's gonna be Maz Kanata. Except this is going to be an old recording of Snoke.
Yeah, it's his last will and testament. All right, I'm getting ready to walk into a meeting. I might die. If you're watching this, that means I was cut in half by that bastard with his raw power.
What if they have a resurrection ship?
Oh, yeah. At that point, someone needs to sit down and Snoke and say, let's talk about while you waited until you looked like a sweaty old, crumpled up nutsack. to use the clones.
It's funny you say that.
Expensive, man.
It's funny you say that because there are some people that are speculating that he's going to pull a Palpatine and his essence
Not
is going
canon.
to go into
Not canon. La 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 la.
Okay, how do you guys feel if he comes back full on and he is Snoke through
That'd
like
be
a cloning or
hilarious.
something?
It would be
Freaking hilarious.
it would be hilarious because it would be a middle finger to Ryan Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
That would be funny.
Or
But-
if he actually killed the clone and not really Snoke.
Yeah, that's why Snoke was off on a beach somewhere drinking Mai Tais.
Yeah. Oh,
Next
dang it,
to-
another clone was killed. This is
Next
my
to
last
Stephen
one.
Root from Office Space. I would laugh
You
at
have to
it,
jump to conclusions.
but to make it work, to make it actually work,
I
they
wasn't
would
here
have
last episode when we talked about Office Space.
That's true. He doesn't. To actually make it work in the story, they would have to really write some. They would basically have to lay out an unnoticeable trail for like the first 30 minutes to an hour of the film before the reveal. They would have to actually weave into the plot some clues, some like Sixth Sense level clues that we don't pick up on.
Well, there's
so
red
that when they
everywhere.
do reveal it, it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
They did use red, so they got that covered.
You got red on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if Ray wakes up on that island?
On
and
what?
Luke's there?
Huh? What?
What?
What
Like
island?
Luke's still alive? Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was all a dream.
Oh boy.
She's still there. She hasn't even talked to him yet. She was
She's
just sleeping
holding
on the
the
Falcon.
lightsaber.
She blacked out. She has narcolepsy, horse narcolepsy, and she wakes up and she's holding the lightsaber. And Luke just goes, "Hi, I'm Luke. What's your name?" I'm just kidding. I recognize my daughter anywhere. Come here and give old dad a hug. Oh, Noogie, you used to hate these.
So he's Olaf from.
I would like to think.
Surprise.
Yeah, I would like to think that Luke is a little more Olaf-y in his late age, a little more playful guy. Doesn't mind shoplifting every now and then. You know, I'm old. I deserve it.
Don't tell your mother.
Put these eggs in your pants.
Better than curmudgeon-y old man, that's for damn sure. Nice. So okay, so least interesting Snoke return would be like flashback, right? Most interesting to me would be like a Force essence and factors into the battle somehow.
I wouldn't mind if he didn't factor into the battle, but just like stated some. First off, he hasn't factored into any battle yet.
Yeah, no battle. Yeah, maybe
But,
not
like,
necessarily a battle, but like some
even if
kind
he
of
just-
exploration of the Force.
Even
of
if
some
he
sort.
just like drops some knowledge that like changes the perspective
Sure.
on whatever's happening
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is
Some
really
exposition,
really that's
needed
all he's
exposition.
done. That's the only purpose he served in the first two films is to basically drop knowledge. That's all he's done. He's just been a character that says, actually, it's this way, raw. And that's all. The only purpose he served is to
What
be
if-
the guy who just goes, it's the opposite of what you thought. Blah, blah, blah.
What if he attached himself to Kylo's lightsaber?
I thought you were going to say Chewie's back, but go
And
ahead.
then he talks to Kylo like Bob talked to
Harry Dresden.
Harry Dresden.
So now it's just a lightsaber.
Yeah.
It just kind of winks. The
Every
glow.
time he talks, it activates.
Oh, man.
What if
that
he
would
had
be
a horror
stressful.
crutch and he's really on the back of Kylo's head?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, dude. Yeah.
Kylo actually pulls back his long, black, greasy, Snape-like locks, and underneath you see.
Ooh, no. It's Raylo, and they're getting ready to hook up, and he takes off his
Ugh.
shirt, and he turns around, and there's Snoke coming out of his back.
Oh, no. I was gonna say, get to the reactor. Because he's living on Kylo's stomach like Garrick Krang.
No, I don't live on the stomach. I live in the stomach.
Wait, your mother was in the car? I don't understand.
Quaid.
Let's name all the various body parts that that Snoke could be living as on Kylo, and let's just get the Batwang joke out of the way right now.
I'm telling you, Bruce
Well,
Wang.
we could have the
Growler, not a shower.
we could have the Snoke snatch.
Yeah, that's true. A Snoke stash would be great. Yeah, Kylo just stops shaving and
Yeah.
then realizes that his beard is Snoke.
Oh, all these better than what we've got.
The scars moved back to the other side of his face. So
Yeah.
I hope they move the scar to
I
a
do
completely
too.
different place.
It goes over his bridge of his nose. Oh, yeah. Completely different place or
It's on
back
his
to where it
ass or
was.
something.
I want the scar to be animated like the wall to get into the
scar
Jedi
is
Temple in Rebels. You know, it just starts like making moving pictures on his face. It's like a little animated cave painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot, actually.
Wait, is Snoke beard? Does the beard grow in the shape of Snoke, or are they all? Is the beard consisted of like little Snoke-like polyps, like skin tags that are all little mini Snokes?
I don't know, but the beard has to move.
You
every
look
time
real
he talks.
close. Look real close. It's got a little nose, a little mouth.
Little
All-
butt crack head.
I am so uninvested in the story at this point that all of these sound great to
I know
me.
they do to me too.
Why hasn't
amazing.
JJ called us up yet?
I don't know. That guy is because he's too busy taking Gugugugu out for dinner after every day's ride.
All right,
Yeah, he's coming back, baby.
Before we get to our next one, I gotta ask: Is Raylo? Is that a thing? Is that gonna happen?
Sure.
No,
I don't know. That's kissing cousins, man.
no.
Yeah. Aw. No, not really.
Well, it's happened before, and
So Garrick says yes, they're gonna hook up and have babies.
All the babies.
So Howie says no.
no babies.
I
No
think
babies.
Kylo's going to learn the magic spell to implant a baby in Rey
I don't even think Kylo knows how to make a baby.
without
I don't either.
without sexy happy
I
times.
don't think he's got a wiener.
He's
Oh,
gonna
he's gonna force
no. He's got a little Snokey.
It's
a little Snokey.
El Snokito.
It's like a little
Snokito.
Smoky, but it's actually a little Snokey. But it's comparable to a little Smoky.
I've been contemplating this Raylo thing. I just don't know how they do that because
It's
it
one
feels
of the few
like
things about The Last Jedi that I actually found interesting was their connection.
yes,
But
agreed.
then as soon as
It was just-
Snokerino says, I just was messing with you. Raw.
Yeah,
At that point, I was
know.
like, oh, now it's meaningless and I don't care.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I don't know why they didn't leave that as a cliffhanger.
I don't know why blank.
I still
I
feel like
don't
the end of that
understand.
movie should have ended at that throne room with Kylo reaching out his hand and saying, "Follow me," and credits. And you don't know who says yes, no,
I'm
maybe
not gonna
others.
I'm not going to say that's not a better ending to what. Yeah, even if nothing else was resolved, I'm still like, okay. Whatever.
Oh, that would have been insane.
You know, Admiral Holdo's over there with her finger over the button, and then guess what? The movie ends, and she never had a chance to break the laws of physics according to the canon of Star Wars. I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I don't know what happened with the rebels running out of space gas, but at least that didn't happen. So okay, I'm for it. Wow, I'm salty tonight.
I guess.
You're so salty.
I've been listening to other.
just-
I've been listening to other podcasts that are not Star Wars podcasts, but have episodes where they talk about Star Wars.
Gotcha.
And it seems like everybody is not quite as nice as we are about The Last Jedi. Now, again, I'm not talking about Star Wars podcasts. I'm talking about other podcasts talking about Star Wars.
Right.
And we come across as way nicer than the stuff
Right.
that I'm hearing. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap. We are really pulling our punches for sensitive fans. Wow.
That movie made all the national treasures.
So many national treasures. I believe
Snoke
Two
is
and a
your
half
national
national
treasure.
treasures.
it made like 30 national treasures or 70
Something like
national
that.
treasures.
Wow, that's a
National
lot
treasures.
of national treasures.
That's a lot of national treasures.
You know who's a national treasure?
Nicolas Cage.
He is a national
John
treasure.
Voight.
John Voight.
He is too.
Yeah, he was quite
Son of
literally
a
a national
bitch.
treasure.
Yeah, he
I
is.
don't like John
Those
Voight
guys.
at all.
Why?
He rubs me the wrong way all the way back to his westerns in the late 60s, early
Well,
70s.
yeah, he was a little pretentious back then.
Well, and
He's named after a sporting brand. Is that why?
I like
my
him in
name's a
most.
sporting
I like
brand.
him in most of his roles as he's his senior citizen roles.
I don't know. And remember, I just recently went back and watched Deliverance for the first time.
Yeah.
Then again, John Voight, probably the least obnoxious person in that movie, except the 30-minute scene where he climbs a cliff and then climbs back down again. That was pretty awful.
Somehow Angelina Jolie came out.
Yeah.
yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah,
at
how
all.
did that
50% of her came out of him.
That's weird.
It's true. That is
Yeah.
weird.
I don't know. John Voight, I don't, it's not that I don't like him. He gives me the creeps. That's what it is.
Trying to think, my first exposure to him. We're getting way off here. I
That's
think
what
was,
she said.
I think it was Mission Impossible, the first one, like from 93 or 4. Or
No, it's like
something.
97, I think. 96 or 97.
No, couldn't have been that late.
The one they based the Nintendo game off of?
Yeah, the N64 game.
The Nintendo.
Actually, that game did come out a few years after the movie. I think you're right.
I had it. I had the Mission Impossible game. It was hard.
You would play it in my room.
Yeah.
Diddaloo.
So like Raylo just doesn't make sense to me because I feel like
96.
96. There you go.
I guess I was rightish, and so were you.
I just feel like they got to kill Kylo. I don't feel like they could do another redemption story.
I wanted Kylo to be redeemed until they did the last minute U-turn at the end of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I thought a redemption story would be like a slower burn redemption story rather than the last minute Vader switches because electricity sucks, right? Like, oh man, you're shocking the baby, not cool.
That's my son.
That's my son. And so I thought, like, well, if this, before we saw The Last Jedi, I was like, if this whole trilogy is all about redeeming this character, I feel like that's different enough that it could explore that better. But all bets are off, in my opinion.
I know.
I mean, he killed Han, and then he,
that's what
threw
I'm
his
saying.
little baby fit to shoot
Right,
it.
and then did not turn again when he had the opportunity with Rey. So that's the other thing. I felt like that movie could have. I could have swore they were going to go on the Gray Jedi, path.
All that movie did was slam as many doors as possible, and it felt like it opened one door, which was, see, anybody can be a Jedi, but it's like, okay. I mean, we did not think that.
Yeah, I never thought that. That's why I never understood that.
Yeah, I don't know why we need to be told. We need to be told that the one thing you left open in this movie gives us nothing more than we had before, but you slammed the doors on a bunch of other stuff. So I don't know, man.
Speaking of things getting turned over.
Oh boy,
what's the next one?
Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Well,
yeah,
there's
something about a twist.
Supposedly, the big
Fast domino coming in.
The big spoiler that people are chatting about this week, or potential spoiler, I guess, is the big supposed twist that's coming in episode 9, which is going to involve some double agentry, some
Bothans,
betrayal, perhaps.
Rey is actually dead.
This is the biggest
the whole time.
This is the biggest, most obvious thing in the world to me. And I'm like, yep, that's JJ level. That's exactly what I expect. Like, this is not even a surprise, or like, it's not even a spoiler to me. I'm just kind of like, yep, whatever.
Yeah. Well, everybody assumed when they started talking about this that they were talking about a betrayal on the Resistance side. No, that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about a potential betrayal on the First Order side, and that would be Hux betraying.
I know, that's my exact reaction, Garrick, was just a laugh, like a snort. And it's kind of like, okay, so now
that
Hux
makes zero sense.
It makes perfect sense because Hux acts like a baby, and so he's going to act like a baby. And I don't like the fact that Kylo's in charge. He makes all the rules, and he picks me last for the team.
Well, I think where this has a little bit of credibility is I think it's
completely credible.
Well, if you remember at the end of The Last Jedi, where it was after Rey and Kylo battled and they broke the lightsaber and they both got knocked out, she slips out and somehow gets back on the Falcon and
somehow
and flies to Crate.
Crate picks her up somewhere.
Yeah, I don't. Somehow, yeah.
She ends up doing a thing when there's some rocks that float around.
She gets shot out of a torpedo tube or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
she was in
Hux comes into the throne room and sees Kylo laying on the floor. And if you remember, there's a split second where Hux actually goes to pull his pistol out, acting like he's going to shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
And then, so anyway, I think that's where this is maybe getting some credibility.
That's what I'm saying. This isn't even a spoiler. It's no surprise. It's literally just a cheap gimme. So whether it is in the movie or not, I don't care because the impact of it is like, meh.
Yeah.
It's not like Hux is suddenly going to be a good guy. He's still going to be a selfish brat.
Right. Well, that's the thing with this rumor is that they're saying that it's not even because he's betraying the First Order per se. He's betraying the First Order specifically to make Kylo look bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those two have never been able to share the sandbox.
Well, the problem with the Hux character to me is, after Force Awakens, I was okay with with Kylo and Hux's, back and forth. They clearly didn't like each other, blah, blah, blah. But the Hux character in The Last Jedi was just turned into a parody.
Yeah.
He
was a baby. He was a dumb baby.
Yeah.
Even the dude who was in charge of the dreadnought with the guns on it was mad at him, like, that dumb baby, we should have done this all 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then he got blowed up. Like I said, the best First Order commander we've seen blown up right after we meet him.
Right.
And he was sitting there going, we should have bloody well done this 5 minutes ago. I don't care about Hux at all. At all.
Yeah.
It's not, it's a ridiculous character. It's nothing.
I mean, it seems like if they would try to pull that off in 9, that it just doesn't feel like it would have much credibility because of what you're saying.
You wanted me to be interested in Hux? Have Hux just go AWOL. He left the First Order. He abandoned it because he didn't want to didn't want to hang with Kylo, and they just find him somewhere laying low with a beard. And he doesn't even want. He's not even himself. Like he pretends he's not himself. He denies that he's even him because he's afraid they're going to execute him, and they have to convince him to betray the First Order.
So like a fake beard, like a fake long beard, and
like a bunch of detachable Snoke polyps.
I was going to say, is it a Snoke beard?
It's a Snoke beard.
Nice.
It's just one upside down Snoke head hanging off his chin. No, but literally, he's left and he's on the lam and he's trying to just lay low. He doesn't want to pick a side. He's just worried. He wants to get as far from Kylo's spot. Then I would be like, okay, this is interesting because Hux gave up his pursuit for power because he was hopeless on it, and now he's made a character evolution. For me, for Hux to betray the First Order to the Resistance because Kylo sucks is not an evolution of the character, and I'm tired of the characters not evolving. Tired of it.
I don't disagree.
Tired of it.
I don't disagree. Yeah, his character feels like it was wasted to me, much like.
They don't really. I mean, outside of Aftermath, they don't really touch on him that much.
No.
And it's sad. I mean, I want to know more about poor little Huxley.
Well, I mean, you need to have bad characters that are more developed than they are. I mean, you could argue all day about the hero characters on the Resistance side, whether or not they were developed through The Last Jedi. But one thing you can say for certain is that nobody except Kylo Ren has any growth on the First Order side, right?
And it's hard to say that Kylo Ren has growth because he just keeps spinning in circles.
Yeah, right. I mean, there wasn't much there for him even. But I mean, out of all of them, he's the only one that has any kind of character path.
Well, Finn had growth.
Hux is a joke. Snoke gets cut in half. Phasma is dead now, apparently.
Yeah, whatever. But on the other side,
allegedly,
Finn had growth because see what he did is he was doing a cowardly thing, and then he came around and decided to help out because circumstances made it easier. Oh wait, that's exactly what he did in The Force Awakens as well.
Right. Yeah.
Poe had character development. He went from being like a hotshot best pilot to being a hotshot best pilot who's also a whiny asshole who doesn't believe anybody's got a plan and is willing to commit treason. Oh, wait, no, that's backward.
Actually,
then he turned it around at the end.
No. So he made it back. He made it back to the start as well.
Finn's the character that I'm most disappointed in because I really felt like I don't know. Especially how they set him up in Force Awakens. I mean, to be the guy that is just trying to get away, and is brought back into this because of his fondness for Rey, and that's really the only reason he's there. He's not really there because he believes in the Resistance or any of their message and all that stuff. And then in Last Jedi, it's just like he's there, but Rey is no longer his.
In both movies, he sticks
there.
around because someone says like a word that makes him go, "Oh, hey, I know something about that." That's the only reason he sticks around. Like
Martha.
And plus, Rose electrocuted him while.
Yeah, there's that.
That happened.
Yeah,
couldn't leave.
I just felt like there was so much potential for that character.
The only character that's done any evolution, the only character that's done any evolution is Rey, and her one evolution is this. Instead of being driven to get Luke to help, she's just gonna take things into her own hands.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
She
Right.
nothing else that she set out to do, like everything failed. Everything she wanted to do failed. So as a result, the only evolution is she's accepted the failing of the other things.
Right.
That's what there's one of the things that frustrates me about these movies is that the ball hasn't moved. You know?
Right. Well, JJ's definitely got his work cut out for him.
He do.
That's for sure. So.
Yeah,
Good thing he's got Andy Serkis on the case.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And a twist from General Hux.
That's not a twist. That's my thing. It's not a twist. It's just another lazy trope.
It's a nipple twist, man.
Yeah, that's what it's going to feel like.
Nips.
But not like in a good way, like in the car battery kind of way.
Well, that's all I had in terms of rumor.
Oh, good. Then go out on a sour note.
Nah.
Hey,
Thanks, Mike.
happy ladies and gentlemen, won't you please run out to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Podcasts, whatever the hell they call it these days. Whatever the name of the week is over in Google Town.
YouTube.
And
YouTube.
I will say YouTube. I say it separately.
I know, but I'm just saying it too.
And give us a nice little review so we can reach more listeners just like you. And if you go to YouTube and subscribe to Fly Casual page, subscribe. You can watch Mike fumble on his laptop. I imagine every 10 minutes or so you'll see the mouse cursor move an inch. I don't know what's going on over there.
It's part of the fun.
While listening in. So do that. Run to betterkind.com otherwise, and you can follow on, click on the show notes, see this other stuff we're talking about, and get your own little eyes on it. But we'd really love you to join us on Twitter at FlyCasual1138, where we like to hear from you and talk with you and have all these wonderful conversations that oftentimes lead right into the content that we cover right here. So please be a part of the community there. We'd love to have you. In the meantime, it's time to tie this one off. I'm Corey. Over there's Mike.
Subscribe on the YouTube.
Over there's Howie.
See ya.
Over there's Garrick.
I got a brain in my tummy.
And over there's Jelly. It's like brain jelly leaking out of Garrick's tummy. I used to be able to do a really good Krang impression. I can't do it anymore. I think puberty killed that impression.